who suffered that disappointing heavy home loss to St Helens last weekend. They're in 4th on 32, and then it's Ulkiston Rovers in 5th on 30. Leigh, who hosts Bradford this evening, in 6th place, also on 30 points. 7th place St Helens. They know they have to win their remaining 4 games to have any chance of breaking in the top 6. But oh boy, coming off the back of that big performance last weekend, 46 points to 16 at Bellevue. All those points, or the vast majority of those points, coming in the second half as Wakefield suffered back-to-back defeats. Well, round 24 starts this evening. Wigan-Wakefield at the Brick Community Stadium. The game we're bringing you live here at the Leigh Sports Village. It is the Leigh Leopards taking on the Bradford Bulls, and the crowd building here ahead of kick-off. Kick-off at 8 o'clock. And as always, a big welcome and a loyal welcome to our loyal listeners near and far. Well, Leigh arrived back at the Leigh Sports Village after throwing their hand into the playoff race with that 20 points to 16 win away to Leeds last weekend. Leigh putting themselves in prime position for a top 4 finish, ending the Rhinos' winning home run at Headingley in the process. Well, on an evening that will live long in the memory for Leigh supporters, Adrian Lamb's Leigh Leopards were superb, scoring 4 tries and producing an immense defensive effort throughout, even playing for 10 minutes with 12 men, with centre Andy Badrock sent to the sin bin in the second half. It was a thrilling clash, and it was Leigh's defence ultimately that won them the game, twice denying Ryan Hall in the second half. Well, Adrian Lamb quite rightly highlighting the defence from his side post-match, saying that was his side's best defensive effort of the season. Certainly feeling that the way his side hung on there in that second half, it was showing incredible levels of commitment. Well, Bradford will have had to have done their homework on David Armstrong, who was the Leigh man of the match at Headingley last weekend. He was a constant threat all game. Well, Bradford dropped to the bottom of the table. That was confirmed after Huddersfield Giants made it 3 wins on the bounce after they went to Toulouse Olympique last Saturday evening. That game taking place after the Bulls had been beaten by Wigan at Odsal. That means just points difference separates the Bulls and Huddersfield. It's a points differential of -53, and that just shows you how important it is to remain competitive despite losing. Well, Bradford Bulls boss Kurt Haggerty, he was forced to admit that his side lost too many big moments in that 34-6 defeat to Wigan at Odsal. The Bradford Bulls dropped to bottom of the Super League table on that points difference, with the Bulls performing better than they did the previous week against the Warrington Wolves, but ultimately conceding far too many soft tries as Wigan scored 3 tries in each half at Odsal. Well, it was a game in which the Bulls saw yet more injury adversity, with Kurt Haggerty forced to watch Ryan Sutton, Joe Mellor, Luke Cooley and Phoenix Steinwade leave the field at various points. Ryan Sutton, Phoenix Steinwade, they're ruled out for the visit to face the Leigh Leopards this evening, but Joe Mellor, Luke Cooley, they have passed the fitness test. And as we said, Kurt Haggerty, he's got a bit of movement in his team this evening, with both Riley Dean and Eben Skerr available from illness, which ruled them out against Wigan last week. One area of frustration for Kurt Haggerty is that ever-changing spine. 25 games, 25 competitive games in Super League and Challenge Cup, 14 different combinations. Unprecedented disruption to the Bradford Bulls and that spine. And let this stat sink in. Jaden Nikarima, Rowan Milnes, Bradford 6 and 7 for 2026. They've played together for just 62 minutes this season. Kurt Haggerty will certainly be hoping that Lady Luck will shine on his side next season in far greater numbers So without further ado, we'll go through the early team news here. We're exactly 20 minutes away from kick-off, and Leigh Leopards one change as we see Jack Ashworth, who came in from the Castleford Tigers this week. He's part of a swap deal which sees Lazarus go the way to Castleford and potentially make his Castleford debut in tomorrow afternoon's game. That daunting trip to Langtree Park and St Helens. So just one change made by Adrian Lamb this evening. So it's David Armstrong at fullback, weak three-quarter line. In his senior, Andrew Badrock. Amaya Hanley, who's been called into the England development squad by England head coach Brian McDermott. And Josh Charnley, who's on 280 Super League scores for his duration in the Super League. He's ahead of Ryan Hall as things currently stand. Half-back combination, Adam Cook and Lachlan Lamb, who will captain the Leopards this evening. And then the forwards, this is where the game is likely to be won and lost this evening. Isaac Liu, Liam Horn, Robbie Mulhern, back row, Jacob Alec, Owen Trout and Joe Offahengawe at loose forward. Isaac Liu, 350th career appearance for him, 250th appearance for Offahengawe. And on the bench, Lewis Brogan, Jack Ashworth on debut, Edwin Apape and Matt Davis. Bradford Bulls, they made 6 changes last week. They've only made half this evening. 3 changes made by Kurt Haggerty for this one. As we've already mentioned, no Ryan Sutton. He's out with a dislocated thumb injury. Phoenix Steinwade, he's missing due to the head injury protocols by the Rugby Football League. And Zach Fulton, we don't know why Zach isn't playing this evening, but he drops out, which allows Leon Ruan back in, his first appearance since the Magic Weekend at the start of July. So 3 changes made by Kurt Haggerty. Riley Dean for Ryan Sutton, Jamie Gill for Phoenix Steinwade, Leon Ruan for Zach Fulton. Bradford lining up with their sole ever-present Callum Aikins and former Leigh man at fullback. Wing three-quarter line, Jaden Ockenbaugh, Wonga Blake, Luke Cooley, Ethan Ryan. The halves are Joe Keys and Chris Atkin. Forwards, Will Gardner, Andy Ackers, Logan Lewis. Back row, Dan Russell, Elliot Paposhe. Loose forward, the Bulls captain. He won it all with the Leigh Leopards, then named Centurions back in 2022. He won the grand final. He won the 1895 Cup final, and he also won a Challenge Cup final. Joe Miller, he is at loose forward for the Bulls. And then on the interchange bench, Riley Dean, Jamie Gill, Leon Ruan and Eben Skur. 18th men, Gareth O'Brien for the Leopards, Alfie Leake for the Bulls. It's Adrian Lamb against Kurt Haggerty. Match officials for this one, referee Liam Rush, the video referee James Vella, should we have any video referee referrals. Without further ado, let's hear the thoughts, the pre-match thoughts of Bradford Bulls head coach Kurt Haggerty, who says the key message to his Bradford Bulls squad this evening is that they must keep scrapping, they must keep competing even during the tough periods and games like this one this evening, facing the Leigh Leopards tonight. Here's Bradford Bulls head coach Kurt Haggerty.
Hi Kurt.
Hello Michael.
Yeah, just on James Bentley, because we've not spoken about him. He's obviously going to be at the club next season. What excites you about his capture and signing?
Yeah, so when I recruit in particular, Mick, when I take it to the board and to Jason Hurst and Brian Noble, I have a few things that I look at. I go with professionalism, competitor and aggressor, and James ticks all of them boxes. We know he plays close to the edge of the line, which I don't mind. And I've had this conversation with James when he signed, if ultimately that's over to him. If he crosses the line, the repercussions come with that. But ultimately, flirting with that line at times is not always the worst thing in the world.
Just on his sort of natural aggression, intensity that he brings to his game, I know you said you've had a bit of a talk with James already, but is that something you're going to look to control, or are you just going to let James play his way?
No, there's been far better coaches that coach James better than what I have, and I'm not going to be the bloke who sits here and says I'm going to sort his discipline out. He knows what comes with him, with his discipline, He knows that I like parts of his aggression and the way he plays, but the rest of it's over to him.
Brian Noble spoke about players wanting to play for the club for the right reasons. How important is that to you and the club?
Yeah, it's very, very important, and I think I've shown that in particular in the way I've recruited with the likes of Cameron Scott, John Bateman, James Bentley, bringing boys back who are serial winners, who want to play for the Bulls, almost come to me before I've come to them. So yeah, I think we've shown as a club, and what I've identified is trying to bring the Bradford boys back home, shows that how much it means for people of Bradford to see their own playing in a Bradford shirt.
And I'm kind of guessing from a sort of club's culture, identity and standards point of view, that's all intertwined and goes hand in hand.
It does, yeah, it does, Mick, you're right. And also what I will say, if that player doesn't suit my style of play as well, I'll not sign him. Whether they're from Bradford or not, they have to suit how I want to play, how I want to defend and attack. And ultimately all them blokes do, they understand the style of play I want to play and the way I want to defend, and they all fit that mould.
Just on the Wigan game, obviously disappointing to lose, but I think you said post-match there were some periods of progression from that Warrington game. What pleased you the most?
Just some parts of our kick chase. We have to be better at kick chase. If you watch the top teams of the competition, when that ball's left the half's foot, they sprint to defend their first three plays. We didn't do that well enough against Warrington. I thought we did it better against Wigan for a large part of the game. And just some of our style back a little bit more. We had some more personnel in there who understand how we want to play. So a little bit more of our style of play was back.
I know it's been touched upon already, but bottom on points difference, how significant is avoiding last place for you and the players?
Yeah, again, we've spoke about it today. It's the first day we've really addressed it today. I'll keep what I said and what the players said in-house internally. But yeah, it's certainly something that's going to drive us for the rest of the season. Especially in the days in the training sessions where we're fatigued and we're tired because you've got a lot of players playing Super League for the first time and you've got blokes playing injured. But right now we cannot feel sorry for ourselves because we've got to get off the bottom of that ladder.
You won't thank me for pointing this out, Kurt, but Joe Keys, Chris Atkin, along with Caleb Aikens, it was the 14th different spine that you've had this season in 25 competitive games. Just how frustrating and, how has that affected, the attacking development side of things for you?
I think if you'd have asked me this 2-3 months ago, I'd have been frustrated, but I'm just at a point now, Mick, where it's happened, it keeps happening. We've got to get on with it. I actually knew that statistic because Chris Atkins actually told me today. So Chris Atkins, a very studious rugby man, highly intelligent young man, and he's picked out to me that stat you've just told me, so I wasn't overly shocked when you told me that, but I'm past the point of frustration. We've got to do whatever we can with who plays there, and ultimately if we've got to strip it back a little bit, we'll strip it back.
Just on the recent results, obviously disappointing, but has there been any sort of positive traits, cultural elements, that you've seen from your players that gives you confidence heading into next year?
I think culturally, I get a lot of confidence. I've said this numerous times. I coach a fantastic group of men. There's been some really tough conversations with blokes who won't be here next year between myself and the player. We've always been very open, very honest. So when you have that kind of relationship with your group and with your players, and there's no grey areas and you don't lie to them, you get full buy-in. And I've had that all year since day one that I've come here because we've been open, transparent and very honest. And ultimately they're a very close group of men who get on well and they appreciate the honesty of what I found.
Just on Connor Wynne, Brandon Douglas, Rowan Milnes, are we likely to see them in the final 4 games of the season, Kurt?
Same again, which names?
Connor Wynne, Brandon Douglas, Rowan Milnes.
Possibly Connor, but the other two we probably won't see for the rest of the year.
Are they likely to be added to the 10, 11 that are already out for the season?
They're added to it, yeah.
They're added to it, right, no worries. And obviously beyond results, is there any sort of performance markers, that you're giving to your players about the last 4 games against, Leigh, Toulouse, Castleford and York, which would, in your eyes, be a successful end to the season?
We have markers every week, Mick. We have a bit of a system that we use for every game, and if we hit them systems, we win games. If we don't hit the majority of them, we lose games. So we have markers set. They won't change for the last 3 games of the season, 4 games of the season, sorry. So we know exactly what we need to do. We know the metrics we have to hit to win games, and that won't change no matter who we play.
Just finally, Kurt, is there a particular message or focus that you're giving your players to sure they finish the season with momentum and pride, rather than, I guess, feeling sorry for themselves and just, playing out the final 4 fixtures?
Yeah, it's just very much, it's a moment in time where we can't feel sorry for ourselves. There's some blokes who'll never pull on the bullshit again after this season. We've got to put a performance in for them. And there's a lot of injured boys who we want to put performance in for. We've still got blokes who are fit and still fighting. So yeah, we won't give up, we'll keep scrapping and we'll do everything we can, especially playing that Bradford Bull shirt.
Cheers, Kurt. All the best for Friday. See you Friday.
Good man, thank you. Cheers, guys.
This is West Yorkshire Rugby League Radio with Mick the Game Caller Gledhill.
Well, welcome back to rugbyleague.com West Yorkshire Radio. We've just heard there from Bradford Bulls head coach Kurt Haggerty. There was a little bit at the start. Clearly, last week we heard from Brian Noble, who's excited about the signing of James Bentley, saying it's a strong move for both James and the club. Well, you've just heard there from Kurt Haggerty, who echoes a little bit of what Brian Noble said last week, that it's important in terms of Bradford's recruitment process for 2027 to recruit players who want to play for the club for the right reasons, players who understand the club's culture, identity and standards. So we've just heard there from Bradford Bulls head coach Kurt Haggerty, 10 minutes out from kick-off. And as we said, the key message from Kurt Haggerty regarding the game this evening is he wants his Bradford Bulls squad to scrap, to compete. Even during those tough moments, tough periods in this game this evening against an in-form, red-hot Leigh Leopard side. And that's especially important for Kurt Haggerty, that he sees his side compete, he sees them scrap, despite the fatigue, despite the injuries, and despite playing 11 players who were in the Championship at some point, either this year or last season, in terms of limited Super League experience. Well, it's important that the Bradford Bulls treat the final 4 games here against Leigh, next Saturday against Toulouse, and then Castleford and York on consecutive Thursday nights as a test of their pride, their professionalism and effort, rather than just let's have a run out towards the end of the season. Well, as we said, the Leigh Sports Village this evening, more akin to a nightclub than a rugby league stadium. Credit to Leigh. There's a big banner directly opposite me. It says the greatest show in Super League. We had an Oasis tribute band on around about an hour ago, and they brought the house down. Bradford, 400 to 500 fans here on this Friday night. Certainly not the biggest away following from the Bulls. Just one win in their last 9 games. That just cranks the pressure up on everybody. As we said, Leigh already arriving at Odsal this season in round 14 and coming away with a 38-12 win. Josh Charnley, an hat-trick at Odsal. Damage done in that first half, errors and penalties, seeing the Bulls trail 14 points to 0. Well, it's been 4 years since Bradford last visited the Leigh Sports Village. It was a Valentine's Monday massacre as Leigh won 38 points to 4. Bradford having D. Foggin Johnston sent off to make matters just that little bit harder. Well, Adrian Lamb, the Leigh Leopards head coach, he's had a summer cleaning this week. A number of players leaving on loan to the Super League and the Championship. We mentioned Lazarus and Ashworth, Castleford Leigh, the player swap deal. Well, we've also seen Oliver Pollock join Salford, Will Bro joining Halifax Panthers, and Keenan Brand and Ben McNamara, who have both joined Castleford. So, new Castleford head coach Luke Robinson tomorrow when he takes his side to St Helens, potentially 3 or 4 changes there. Well, this evening, it's all about the Leigh Leopards against the Bradford Bulls. At half-time, we'll be hearing from both Derek Beaumont and Peter Volandis on the attraction and the magic of the Las Vegas weekend. So stick around for that. We've got 80 minutes of enthralling Super League action ahead of us here at the Leigh Sports Village. As we said, it is rugbyleague.com, it is West Yorkshire Radio. Leigh arrived back at home after throwing their hand into the playoff race with that 2016 win away to the Leeds Rhinos. Bradford and Kurt Haggerty and his injury-ravaged side, he was forced to admit that his side lost too many big moments in their defeat to Wigan at Odsal, as Matt Peate's side had it far too easy, far too comfortable for the Warriors, who scored some soft, really uncontested tries with poor defence. Well, I'm sure Bradford will have done the homework on the Leigh Leopards and seen just how enthusiastic the Leopards were last week in dealing with the Leeds Rhinos at Headingley. Leeds suffering their first defeat of the season at Headingley in the process, on an evening that will leave long in the memory for the Leigh Leopards supporters. Well, without further ado, 5 minutes to go to kick-off. We'll go through the team news once again. Leigh Leopards, this won't change, as we see Jack Ashworth, part of that player swap deal with Castleford, with Lazarus going to West Yorkshire. He comes in for Jack Hughes. So Leigh lining up with David Armstrong, Innes Senior, Andrew Padrock, Amaya Hanley and Josh Charnley. Halves are Adam Cook and Lachlan Lamb. Forwards Isaac Liu. Career appearance 350 for him. Liam Horn, Robbie Mulhern, Jacob Alec, Owen Trout. And at loose forward, it's Joe Offahengawi. On the interchange bench, Lewis Brogan, Jack Ashworth, Edwin Ipape and Matt Davis. Bradford arrive here with a huge question mark up a number of their players. More injury adversity sustained against the Wigan Warriors. Ryan Sutton misses out with thumb ligament damage. So too does Phoenix Steinwade with a head injury assessment protocol, so he misses this one. And Zach Fulton, he misses out with a neck injury. No issues on how severe yet, or no diagnosis from Kurt Haggerty. We'll certainly get that at full time in the post-match press conference. But the good news is Joe Mellor has managed to shake off the quad injury. Luke Cooley is all given the all clear following his knee, or should I say the twisted knee that happened in the second half. So 3 changes made by Kurt Haggerty. Riley Dean comes in for Zach Fulton, Jamie Gill for Ryan Sutton, Leon Ruan for the Phoenix Steinwade. Bradford lining up with Callum Aikins, fullback, wing 3/4 line, Jaden Ockibor, Wonga Blake, Luke Cooley and Ethan Ryan. The halves are Joe Keys and Chris Atkin. Forwards Will Gardner, Andy Ackers, Logan Lewis. Back row, Dan Russell, Elliot Paposhi and former Leigh man, the captain, Joe Mellor. On the interchange bench for the Bulls, Riley Dean, Jamie Gill, Leon Ruan Ebensker. 18th men for this one, Gareth O'Brien and Alfie Lake. Referee from Mirfield, not far from Brighouse. It's West Yorkshire based official Liam Rush. James Vella, the video referee. And as we said, the key message from Kurt Haggerty ahead of this one. He wants his side to keep scrapping, to keep competing, treating the final 4 games of a test of his side's pride, professionalism and effort, rather than disclosing the shop and saying we'll go again in 2027. So rugbyleague.com, West Yorkshire Radio, Mick the Game Caller Gledhill, just gone slap bang 8 o'clock. We'll do our best to keep you up to date with what's happening 7 miles up the road between the Wigan Warriors and Wakefield Trinity. Bradford are out. They're going to put boot to ball from Luke Cooley. They're in their all changed black away shirt, and it's Leigh who will play towards the Bradford fans right at the start of this one. Bradford have to stay in that arm wrestle. They have to put their bodies on the line. It is going to be one of their toughest assignments of the season. They arrive here once again, needing to call upon that bravery and belief. As we see a quick play the ball there from Isaac Liu. It's going to go from Horn over on that left-hand side. Keys in defence early doors. So too Ackers and Blake. And now Horn decides to go on that left-hand side to Lamb. Lamb's ball is on the ground. It's picked up by Leigh, and Leigh are denied by Ockenbaugh 5 shy of halfway. They were looking immediately to target Keys and Ockenbaugh over on that far stand side. Bradford have done well. A minute gone here. They're on the last. Lamb, the Leigh captain, the son of head coach Adrian Lamb. He sends that one straight down to Aikins. And the former Leigh man, Callum Aikins, brought down on his own 20-metre line. That's tackle 1 for the Bulls. If you're just joining us a little bit late, just one change for the Leopards. Ashworth in for Hughes. 3 changes made by the Bulls. Dean for Fulton, Gill for Sutton, and Ruin for Steinwade. Bradford, 15 shy of halfway here, playing it with Hooley on the third. Ackers now, Aitken. Another big carry on this set here from Aikins, and he's brought down just a couple of metres shy of halfway. Centre field now with Mellor. Mellor runs it in. He's going to be brought down by Mulhern. That's the 5th and last. Bradford back on halfway. Good strong set from them. As Keys kicks towards the corner. Targets the former Huddersfield man in his senior, and he's going to be brought down 15 out from his own try line. Tackle number 1. Lamb in there at acting half. Now it's going to be Badrock, tackle 2. Another quick play, the ball from the Leopards. This time it's Hanley. And he's rolled over just outside his own 30-metre line. We've had 2 gone on the clock. Looking for an early 40-20 here. Not got the accuracy, it's got the power, but it's going to turn the Bulls around. And it's going to be Aikins from his own try line up to the 10. He lays it off to Ireland international Ethan Ryan, and Ryan's away. Ryan outside the 20 to Blake. The Fijian's brought down, 15 shy of halfway, tackle 1. Bradford laying the platform early doors here. 5 shy of halfway with Ockenbaugh, tackle 2. Keys in there at acting half. Now it's going to go to Mellor. Mellor looks for a willing running forward in Logan Lewis, and the former Salford Canberra man is rolled over 5 metres inside the Leigh half. Ackers now to Mellor, misses out Gardner, finds Aikins. Now it's going to go to Hooley, and Hooley's away, wrapped up by Hanley. 25 out, tackle 4. Ryan's in there and acting half. Bradford in good ball position here. It's Mellor back to Lewis. Lewis inside the 20, 18 out. Dead set centre. Liam Rush says that's the 5th and last tackle. Keys kicks towards the corner. Ockenbaugh Blake looking to put a bit of pressure on here. Ball goes backwards. Who's got it? I think Leigh have recovered possession here after the knock on from the Bulls. Liam Rush puts his whistle to lips. It was an error on the last tackle from Kurt Haggerty's side. Leigh are going to play the ball. 10 out from their own try line. And that Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard says we've just shy of 4 minutes gone here at the Leigh Sports Village. It's Leigh Leopards 0, Bradford Bulls 0. On rugbyleague.com and West Yorkshire Radio. Mick the game caller Gledhill. Lamb out of acting half. Now it's going to go over on this right-hand side to Armstrong. Armstrong back on the inside. Danger here as Owen Trout carries Leigh up towards their own 40-metre line. And it's the opening penalty of the evening. Owen Trout was just caught high there. It was Logan Lewis who, well, he made impact with Trout's right shoulder, and then he just ended up going across the bottom of the face. No complaints on that one. Bradford conceding that opening penalty, and it's an invitation for Adam Cook. 5 metres inside the Bradford half. So Bradford, an early gift to the Leopards, piggybacking them up the field. Off Hengawi, I do believe, tackle number 1. That's 40 metres out, centre field. Trout, who won the penalty, takes the ball from Lou and he's brought down. Tackle 3, 30 out, centre field. Cook, now it goes to Lamb. They're surging over on that left side. 20 metres out. Horn, the P&G International, now to Lamb. And the 5 out here, the Leopards, on tackle 4. 1 more for Bradford to try and hold them out and defend as it goes back to Lamb. Now to Lou. Here goes Cook, who kicks for Hanley. Hanley gets there, and Hanley's got it down. It's on the dead ball line. Referee Liam Rush feels this is no try. So we're going to the video referee for the first time this evening. Isaac Lou, he's saying to the referee that it's to try. Well, I'm not quite sure Isaac Lew is the best person to say yes or no. He was further up the field, but it was a lovely kick from Adam Cook. Bradford was stretched over on this main stand side. It was in the in-goal area. Did the ball hold up? And did Amaya Hanley, on what has been a good day for him, being called up to the England squad for the World Cup at the end of the year, based on his last few performances. Famous dad in the Black Pearl, Hilary Hanley. The Bradford supporters behind the post of a certain age will remember Dad Ellery played for Bradford Northern between 1981 and 1984. Well, we've not yet seen any vision yet of the grounding. They're checking the onside offside, so there's quite a bit to check here. Aikins and Hooley were the last line of Bradford defence, and here we go. That's on the dead ball line. No try. It'll be a 20-metre restart here for the Bradford Bulls. Good positioning by Liam Rush. He sent it up as no try, and that's on the dead ball line. Bradford will get the 20-metre restart. Amaya Hanley, he's denied. 5 minutes into this game, we're just waiting for the decision to come up on the big screen here. You might say Bradford have dodged an early bullet here. Certainly an early warning against their brows. Well, we're waiting to see what happens. Here comes the decision on that big screen. No try, and it's a tap on the 20. Amaya Hanley disallowed. Try. 5 minutes gone exactly on that Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard, and we're still at zilch. Ockimbo zero tackle, plays the ball on his 30-metre line. Keys to Mellor. Mellor's wrapped up there by Alec. Now out of acting half, it's going to go from Ackers to Blake over on that right-hand edge. He takes a big tackle there from Badrock, and he's 5 shy of halfway. In there in acting half now as Keys. Oh, that's great defence, line defence there. Bradford have lost 10 metres on that play as Chris Atkin was taken ball and all. Here goes Aikins, now to Ryan. Ryan's up and over halfway, 10 inside the Leigh half. That's tackle 4. That was much better there from the Bulls. Now it's going to go to Aikins, to Mellor. Mellor wrapped up, ball and all. This is the last. Still 40 out from the Leigh line. Keys under pressure from Offahengawick, kicks towards the corner. Leigh have let the ball bounce. Can Blake get there? Armstrong's just going to let that one trickle into touch. Good kick there in the end from Joe Keys. It's only his third appearance, his second game back after that round 1 injury to Hull FC back in February. And David Armstrong there, the former Newcastle Knights man, just allowing that one to trickle dead. But we'll keep you up to date as and when the scores coming in from the Brick Community Stadium, formerly the JJB Stadium, the home of Wigan Warriors. They host Wakefield. That one's just kicked off. But here, with 7 gone, it's 0-0. A positive start from the Bradford Bulls, although Leigh going incredibly close to opening the scoring with that Amaya Hanley disallowed try. Amaya Hanley grounding the ball on the dead ball line. Here come Leigh from their own half. Charnley has it. Did that touch Ethan Ryan's hands? Referee's having a look at it. Charnley's away up to halfway. He's going to say play count continues, and Charnley's playing it on halfway. Here goes Horn. Leigh surging. 10 inside the Bradford half. 5th and last. It's going to go to Cook. Kicks towards Aikins. Hooley does well. Shields Hanley from getting to Aikins, and Aikins is away. The former Leigh man's away. He's brought down 5 shy of halfway by Cook, who put boot to ball. Acker's in there and acting half to Ryan. Ryan offloads the ball. There's no one there. Aikins has to race back and get it from his own 40-metre line, and now he's away, and it's Aikins against Armstrong. He's 30 metres out. Armstrong ball and all tackle there. The Australian on the Kiwi. Aikins quick play the ball. Keys inside the 20. Blake 10 metres out. Was Keys taken out or did he tumble? Referee's playing on. Leigh backed up on their own try line here, and Bradford 10 out now as Keys gives it to Mellor. Mellor inside to Gardner. Offahengawick stolen the ball, 1-on-1, and that's a soft end to that set there as Gardner's had the ball pinched one-on-one off Ngawi on his 250th career appearance. He was like the proverbial thief in the night, and that is a very disappointing end to that set. And now here come Leigh, Hanley. Although Ethan Ryan and Hooley do exceptionally well on this left-hand side. 15 shy of halfway. Charnley in there at acting half. Here goes Owen Trout. Trout finds the support back on the inside of Horn. Horn felled by Paposhe and Lewis. And the referees stopping the clock here. They're going to say Callum Aitkins' gum shield's gone off. So it's a head injury assessment. 10 gone in this game. Canavan Sports Tour scoreboard 0-0. So Riley Dean comes on. Aitkins leaves the field for 15 minutes. So Dean is moving to left centre inside Ethan Ryan, with Luke Cooley moving to fullback. Well, he's arguing with the doctor and Lee Greenwood here. Callum Aitkins is saying he feels okay, but the gum shield's gone off. He's going to have to come off. So 0-0 on the scoreboard, 10 gone. Leigh on the last tackle as we see play resume from the halfway line. Cook, high hanging kick. This time it's Hooley in that fullback position, and Hooley's wrapped up there, ball and all. Good defence once again from the Leopards. That was Trout and Horn, and here's Ryan, tackle 2 up to his own 20-metre line, centre field. 0-0 here between Leigh and Bradford, 6th in the table, hosting bottom. Well, I tell you what, if the Bulls could get a win here, what that would do for their season and their fortunes, with those final 3 games coming up against Toulouse, Castleford and York. No easy games, but certainly 3 winnable games, as Keys has it on the Bradford 40-metre line, this time to Gardner. Gardner's done well, 10 metres up to halfway, rolled over on his back in a 3-man tackle. Acker's out of acting half, now to Keys on that right-hand side, put under pressure by Mulhern, gets the kick away. Armstrong from his own 10-metre line, runs a little bit in centre field, and he's going to meet Mellor head on alongside Dan Russell, 15 or so out from his own try line. So 11 gone on the clock. RugbyLeague.com, West Yorkshire Radio, Leopards 0, Bulls 0. As Leigh just doing the hard yards forward here now with Adam Cook, Riley Dean, Paposhe in defence. Horn to Charnley. Charnley carries Leigh up to their own 40-metre line, just to the right of centre field. There's another penalty here. It's gone to Leigh. Referee Liam Rush saying Chris Atkin didn't clear the ruck. So 2 early penalties to the Leopards. And with 12 minutes gone, Leigh are going to fire this ball into touch on this main stand side, which they do with Adam Cook, the former Canberra Raiders, Mackay Cutter's man, the 25-year-old. Impressive first season at Leigh, Adam Cook. Can he cook Leigh's first points in this game this Friday evening? Cook now to offer Ngawi down the middle, 25 out centre field. Good defence from the Bulls there on what is tackle number 1. Russell going through a lot of defence with Gardner early doors. Now it's going to be Cook over on that left-hand side to Alec, and Jacob Alec's wrapped up by Hooley and Ackers. Another set restart conceded, and now it's going to be Lachlan Lamb on what is now tackle number 1. Bradford's defence just starting to buckle here. Horn's in there at acting half, gives it to Mulhern, and Mulhern put through a gap, past Hooley, past Gardner, and Leigh up and the scoring here. 4-0 as Robbie Mulhern, his 4th season at Leigh, the former Hulkiston Rovers Warrington man, he's got his first try of the Super League season. It's coming round 24 against the Bulls, and with 13 minutes gone, despite what Kurt Haggerty will by and large say was a positive opening, Bradford just conceding penalty. And then the set restarts back to back. I know it was very early in the count when Robbie Mulhern breached Bradford's line, but 3 consecutive sets. Very, very tough for Bradford to try and hold out. And it was that quick play of the ball from Lachlan Lamb, Horn to Mulhern. I think when Kurt Haggerty watches that one back, he will assess that one very similar to some of the tries the Bulls conceded last week. Very, very soft. And Adam Cook, who was 2 from 4 against the Rhinos at Headingley, left-footed kicker. The Australian, he's kicking at 84% in 2026. So this one right in front of the stand that has the Bradford supporters in. Nearly 15 minutes gone here. And a chance for Cook for the first time this evening to get an extra 2 points after that Mulhern try, which he does. 1 from Adam Cook. Mulhern open to scoring. And on an evening here at the Leigh Sports Village, a game Derek Beaumont said pre-match, it's the greatest show in Super League as Leigh and Bradford warm up for Vegas next year. Catalan Sports Store scoreboard, Leopards 6, Bulls 0. RugbyLeague.com, West Yorkshire Radio on a Friday evening. So 15 gone on the clock. Aitken's still in the HIA, and it's going to be Hooley who gets the restart back underway here. Big crowd at the Leigh Sports Village for this one. Offahengawi, tackle 1. Paposhi, Dean in defence there. Now it's going to be Horn. And that's good defence from Bradford, because 2 tackles in after conceding the points. Owen Trout is denied, still inside his own 20-metre line. Bradford just have to channel any of that sort of scrapping mentality, any of that aggression. They know they can't hold on, they can't concede the penalties, they can't concede the set restarts. Leigh on tackle 4. Horn up and over halfway. This is the last. So there's going to be a kick here from Lamb on halfway as he kicks it towards Ockenbaugh. Over on that far stand side. Takes it in. 15 in from touch. And he's brought down 25 out from halfway, tackle 1. Well, 15 minutes gone. Leigh 6, Bradford 0. And Bradford causing Leigh a lot of problems early doors. I think Kurt Haggerty will be a bit pleased with how his side have started. Perhaps not so much the 2 penalties and the set restarts. But here goes Paposhi. 10 shy of halfway. He'll play it. Keys looks for a 40-20. Armstrong comes across. Straight down the throat of Armstrong. Bit of a weak kick, that one from Keys. And he's brought down is David Armstrong. 10 shy of halfway. Tackle 1. Yeah, he almost kidded Joe Keys there, Armstrong. He was very central. Showed him the touchline. Keys kicked early. And he glided across and dealt with that kick from the former London Broncos man. Leigh on tackle 3 on halfway. Horn's in there at acting half. Lamb calls for it. Lamb gets it. Misses out. Offahengawi gives it to Cook. Dean's ran into Trout. Referee's allowing that one to continue. Now, as the Trout in at acting half, gives it to Hanley. Leigh, 25 out from the Bradford line. Make that 20 metres out on the last tackle. Good defence from Dean and Mellor. Lamb down the middle. Bradford have got possession, but in an offside position, say the officials. That's a tough one to take for Kurt Haggerty. They might challenge this one because Ackers has touched it. Logan Lewis is deemed offside in front of the kicker. And does Joe Mellor challenge this one? Well, he can't really see it on the big screen. I think he's given the game up here. Well, 3 penalties now that the Bulls have conceded. A couple of set restarts. And Adrian Lamb is showing the utmost respect here to Kurt Haggerty and the Bradford Bulls, because Adam Cook's got the kicking tee on. As we head towards the 20th minute, it's still Leigh 6, Bradford 0. Well, that was very difficult for Bradford to defend. It's one of those sort of kamikaze plays where Lachlan Lamb's just drilled it into Ackers. Ackers not able to get the ball. Did he play at the ball? The officials said yes. And then because the ball had ricocheted off Ackers, Logan Lewis in front of where it ricocheted off the Bradford man initially, he was deemed offside. And Joe Mellor, he thought about challenging, but he's preserved Bradford's challenge thus far. Kick predictor turned on for Adam Cook, 100%. He strikes the pose, that goes through the post, and it's Leigh Leopards 8, Bradford Bulls no score. on the Catalan Sports Store scoreboard. RugbyLeague.com, West Yorkshire Radio, Friday Night Super League here at the Leigh Sports Village. Cook goes out for 2 from 2. And in the 19th minute here at the Leigh Sports Village, Leigh 8, Bradford 0. Bradford kicking off again with Hooley. That one's taken by Armstrong. Armstrong gives it there to the big man. Off Ngawi, gets to his feet, he'll play the ball. And here goes Trout on tackle 2. 25 out from halfway in a centre field position. Now it's Horn to Cook, to Lamb, Armstrong. They go surging over on the far stand side. They're up to halfway, they're going into touch. Great defence. Oh no, the touch just kept the flag down. It looked like Okibor and Keys. They were going to send Senior over the touchline, but he just put the handbrake on in time. And now Leigh are 5 inside the Bradford half. Eben Skur, Bradford's first interchange officially. He's come on for Will Gardner. Now the ball to Hanley, and Hanley's away. Hanley has Charnley on the outside. Charnley towards the corner. Is denied by Atkin and Hooley. Tremendous scrambling defence there from the Bulls. This is the 5th and last. Back on the 20, it's a crossfield kick from Cook. And I tell you what, Wonga Blake. Oh, there's another penalty. It's gone to Leigh. They're going to say the Leigh escort was interfered with. And do they go for another 2 here, Leigh? Well, we can see a replay in the corner here. 20 minutes gone. Well, that just looks like a lottery for mine. That is a soft penalty. The Bull supporters, they're absolutely booing and jeering. Well, they've just put Joe Keys on the big screen. So 4 penalties to 0 against the Bulls. 2 set restarts to 0. Leigh are almost certainly, potentially, looking for more points on the board here. 8-0, 20 gone. Armstrong plays it. Here goes Horn, 10 out. Isaac Liu underneath the Bradford post, rolled over by Mellor. Ackers, Hooley. 2 metres away, they can smell the Bradford line. Lamb, options, kicks early. Keys dives on the ball, and he's done exceptionally well there, Joe Keys. And now Keys is being held in the tackle. No penalties forthcoming. Okimbo tackle 2. Leigh not back the 10. Bradford appealing for more penalties. They've got nothing thus far. Hooley's playing it. Ackers to Skur. They're only up to their own 20-metre line here, the Bulls. Tackle 3. Tackle 4 now with Mellor. Will they kick early on 4? They will kick early on 4. Keys from deep inside his own half. Bounce of the ball's kind to Senior. And now they can turn defence into attack once again, the Leopards. Well, I must admit, we saw a replay of that penalty that went against the Bulls. The 4th penalty that's gone against the Bulls. And quite a lot of people, including some of the Leigh coaching staff here, were shaking their head in my direction. They quite can't believe that that was given. Perhaps Joe Mellor should have challenged that one, as it is. 18 to go to half-time. Leigh 8, Bradford 0. Bradford score next, it's game back on, well and truly. Lamb, forced to go on the short side. 30 metres out from the Bradford line. 2 tackles to go on this set. Horn acting half. Now to offer Ngawi, who trundles it in down the middle. Takes in Keys and Lewis. 20 metres out. Lamb has it. Lamb misses out Mulhern to Cook. Cook kicks towards the corner, looking for Charnley. And he's done well there as Luke Hooley. He slid across on his knees. And now he's been held in the tackle once again. Officials saying no penalty. And Ethan Ryan wins a penalty. Listen to the noise from the 500 Bradford fans that are here this evening. Bradford's first penalty. It's taken 22 and a half minutes. Referee Liam Rush saying there was high contact to Ethan Ryan from Robbie Mulhern. Bradford have a player down in back play. Clock is stopped here. Kurt Haggerty watching on alongside his coaching staff of Carl Foster and Brian Noble. Well, while we've got a delay here with Bradford potentially having another player leaving the field, we could tell you what is happening at the Brick Community Stadium. Bevan French has opened the scoring. Adam Kieran converting. It's Wigan Warriors 6. Wigan Warriors 6. Wakefield Trinity, no score. So West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com. We're good to go. Hooley boots the ball up to the Bradford 30. Aiken's about to come back on for Dean. He's past his HIA. And with 16 to go, an opportunity here now for Bradford to build. Eben Skur. Motors drives the ball forward, 5 shy of halfway. Now it's Sackers out of acting half. Misses out Miller, gives it to Lewis. Ipape's just come off the interchange bench. He's caused Bradford no end of problems in those 2 games here and at Odsal back in 2022. Aikens, his first carry since coming out of the head injury assessment bay, needs to be brought down. 10 inside the Leigh half. Quick play the ball. Ackers to Mellor. Mellor looks for a rolling runner down the middle and he finds Skur. Skur's brought down. This is the last for Bradford, 30 metres out. Keys leaves the field. Dean stays on and he skied the kick, Dean. It's come off a Bradford man, it's gone backwards. Referee says, is that back to 1? Play on. Bradford are going in towards the corner here. Ethan Ryan steps past on the inside and he has... Oh, what's the referee giving here? Oh, it's another penalty to Leigh. Well, Ethan Ryan was headed towards the corner. He was denied by Charnley, Hanley and Trout. And the referee has given a penalty here to Leigh. I think it's a late call from the touch judge saying Bradford's kick chase defence was offside. Well, they're certainly getting a very harsh rub of the green here at the Leigh Sports Village this evening. Bradford 0, Leigh 8. And we've got 15 to go to half time. So what do Leigh do here? It's going to be Ipape. Taps and gives the ball to Lamb. Now to Armstrong. Armstrong's brought down 30 metres out from that Bradford try line. Ipape at acting half. Now to Lou. And Isaac Lou's 20 out. Good defence from Skur. Good defence there from Lewis. Underneath the Bulls' post. Cook. Short ball to Trout. Trout twisted, turning, rolled over, and this is the last tackle here. Ipape, short side, kicks to Ryan. Ryan lets that one roll dead. It's a tap on the 20 for the Bulls. And there's an opportunity here for Bradford as Ethan Ryan taps it and he gives it to Ockenbaugh. And Bradford, they're back in possession, and it's still 8 points to 0 here at the Leigh Sports Village on the Canalan Sports Tour scoreboard. And Jamie Gill comes off the interchange bench for Logan Lewis. So Wonga Blake's playing it there, tackle 3. Dan Russell, tackle 4. 5 shy of halfway. Atkin to Hooley. Hooley wrapped up there by Ipape. I must have missed the count. This is tackle 4. 1 to go. They're on halfway. Ackers, short ball on the inside to Aikens. Aikens rolled over. Well, they're 30 metres out here now with Mellor. Atkin. Here goes Paposhi down the middle. Draws in those 2 defenders, and this is the 5th and last tackle. On the last, 20 metres out. Atkin looks for Dean. Armstrong's knocked the ball on. Referee says knock on against Leigh. Bradford are going to have a full set of 6 here. 10 out from the Leopards line. And with 13 minutes to go to half time, can the Bulls get their first points of the evening on the scoreboard? It was a clever kick. Armstrong's knocked the ball in to Dean. So the error is going to go against Leigh. And Bradford, they've got some pressure here on that Leigh Leopards try line. Can they turn this pressure? Can they turn this possession into points on the scoreboard? We shall see. Just that Robbie Mulhern try after 13 minutes and the Adam Cook penalty on the 20th minute. That's what separates these two teams. So Aikins to Ackers, now to Dean, to Blake towards the corner, and Blake's in. Wonga Blake's got it down. There's silence here at the Leigh Sports Village, and the silence is broken by the 500 Bradford fans to my right. The referee points the finger, and Wonga Blake, he's in double figures for the season. His 10th try of 2026. He missed 3 games after that injury suffered against Wakefield. He's looking for a strong finish. And oh boy, the Bradford Bulls this evening, they're scrapping, they're competing, and they've got their first points on the board. Leopards 8, Bulls 4. Wonga Blake, his 10th try of the season. Lovely move from the base of the scrum. Ackers, Mellor, Atkin, Blake. Nothing that Badrock had seen here could do. And he's over in at the corner. Try confirmed. And with 12 minutes to go to half time, are we about to have a miracle in Lancashire this evening? Because the Bulls, against a lot of adversity in terms of the high penalty count and set restarts against them, they're showing a lot of life in this performance. So Blake gets the Bulls back in this one. Kick predictor turned on for Luke Cooley. It's saying 61%. He was 1 from 1 last week against Wigan. That one was relatively easy at the side of the post. What can Hooley do here? Can he make it a 2-point game? The cheers from the Leigh faithful will tell you that one has gone wide. But what a scoreboard for the travelling fans from West Yorkshire. The war cry, come on you Bulls, reverberates around the Leigh Sports Village. Canalan Sports Tour scoreboard, just over 10 to go to half time. Leigh 8, Bradford 4. Luke Mawson, tell us your thoughts, because they've had to suck up a lot of adversity from the penalties and set restarts.
Yeah, there's been far too much defending, I think, in this opening 29 minutes or so, but the Bulls on the large have done it superbly. And, bit of a tricky kick-off to deal with there, but they've got away with it. But yeah, there's been a lot of defending. They've come through most of it relatively unscathed, I think, to be 4 points behind, given the weight of possession to the Leigh Leopards and the territory they've had. I think it's absolute props to the Bulls and the resilience, and they've got away back into this game. And, you know, it's been a fairly even 29 minutes.
So, just over 10 to go. Great words there from Luke Mawson, the Bradford Bulls media manager. He's frantically typing away. That Blake has got the Bulls back in this one, and on the restart, here goes Wonga Blake. He's brought down 10 shy of halfway. This will be the last, though. Adrian Lamb's side muscling up in defence, forcing Bradford to kick from deep. As Atkin targets Charnley, and Charnley's going to be brought down on his own 25-metre line. Look at that kick chase from Paposhi there. Gill and Skirt, all players who've come through the Bulls Academy in some way, shape or form. Although Paposhi did start life at St Helens. 3rd season at the Bulls, Elliot Paposhi. Ipapi out of acting half. Looks to generate some momentum. Leigh on halfway. 9 to go here at the Leigh Sports Village as Ipapi nearly broke clear. Jamie Gill, telling contribution from him. Cook on the last, 30 metres out, puts it up into the evening sky. A Leigh player's gone down. He's milked a penalty here for mine. Well, Hanley has just run into the Bradford man. I think Joe Mellor might want to challenge this. Liam Rush was very, very quick there. Hanley for mine has thrown himself on the floor. Oh, Joe Mellor's not going to challenge this one. Well, 6 penalties to 1 now against the Bulls. Referee stops the clock. Well, Hanley for mine, he ran into the Bradford player and threw himself on the floor. Well, just after you've scored that Wonga Blake score, the last thing you want to do is be defending on your own line, but that's what the Bulls are doing. Lewis Brogan, tackle one. Ipape to Cook, to Lamb. On that left-hand side. Looking very dangerous here, the Leopards. Set restart given again. Oh, it's a landslide against the Bulls as Senior goes towards the corner. 6 penalties, 3 set restarts now conceded. And just a sole penalty for a high tackle on Ethan Ryan the other way. Bradford, a Herculean effort in defence. Leopards 8, Bulls 4. Ipape, now to Lamb. Here goes Isaac Liu, has a tilt on the Bradford line. 5 metres out, Jamie Gill, a mountain in defence alongside Mellor. Underneath the post, Ipape, short ball. Leigh in the Bradford in goal area. Is that down? Referee says no. Back in the field of play. Tremendous scrambling defence there from the Bulls, Riley Dean. But now Leigh, they go shooting out of acting half. Is that ball down? Liam Rush says yes. And it was like King Canute trying to stop the waves. Bradford, they just ran out of steam, they ran out of gas, they ran out of energy. And it's Lewis Brogan, the 26-year-old, a late comer to Super League. 2 years ago he was playing for the Swinton Lions. And it's 12 points to 4. And it's come at a crucial period in this game. 6 to go to half-time. And it's about to go to 14-4, you feel. Well, we're praising Riley Dean for that scrambling goal line defence, but it was the short ball from Ipape. And he just got it down there, did the former Swinton witness man, Louis Brogan. 21st appearance of the season for him, second try. Liam Rush, quick to point the finger. Not sure if the try's been confirmed yet, but it looked like the ball was grounded. And Adam Cook, he will make no mistake with this one. The kick predictor is at 94%. And it's going to be a perfect free from free, you feel, as the Leigh Leopards lead the Bradford Bulls on that Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard by 14 points to 4. 6 to go here at the Leigh Sports Village, rugbyleague.com, West Yorkshire Radio. Bradford trying their best to stay and remain in this game. So Mulhern, Brogan, the try scorers for Leigh, Blake for the Bulls. And with just over 5 to go to half time, I think Kurt Haggerty will take a 14-4 scoreboard, but as Luke Mawson said just moments ago, how much energy and how much defending have the Bulls done? So from the restart, big strong carry there from Jack Ashworth. Now it goes Ipape out of acting half, tackle 2. They're on their own 30-metre line, and it's another penalty against the Bulls. That's 7 penalties the Bulls have conceded now in this first half. 7 penalties to 1. And Leigh, well, if they go in for a third try here on this set, that must almost certainly is going to make this second half a second half too far for Kurt Haggerty and the Bulls. Owen Trout, tackle 1. 7 penalties, 3 set restarts. Absolutely criminal from the Bulls. Isaac Liu, tackle 2. 25 out, underneath the Bradford post. Mellor and Ackers in defence. Now it's Cook, left-hand side. Here goes Ashworth, part of that player swap deal that sent Lazarus to Weldon Road. Ipape, now it goes to Lamb. Flick on ball, the senior. Blake's recovered possession. Well, Bradford, to the credit, 2 errors. Leigh now have made 4. And with 4 minutes to go to half-time here, Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard still says Leigh 14, Bradford 4. Bradford 20 out from their own line, over on the far-stand side. Ockenbaugh, that's his second carry on that set. Now it's going to go to Wakins, 25 shy of halfway, left to centre field. Ackers goes short side, straight into Ashworth and Lamb. And he's 15 shy of halfway now. Blake to Hooley. This is the last for the Bradford Bulls. They're kicking from inside their own half on the 40-metre line. Atkin turns around Armstrong. And that's a good kick there from Chris Atkin, the former Widnes Salford Castleford man. Leigh get head and feed, 15 out from their own line, and with 3 minutes to go, Eben Skur leaves the field. He came on and did a solid 15 minutes. That scoreboard once again, Leigh 14, tries from Mulhern and Brogan. Adam Cook free from 3, Bradford Bulls 4. Wonga Blake's try. And here come Leigh with Hanley on this main stand side from outside their own 20-metre line. And Hooley's gone down here, holding his back. So Bradford are down to 12 men at this particular moment. Hooley's going to continue. Ashworth has it centre field. Ipape. Now it's going to go to Brogan down the middle. Once again, Riley Dean, Joe Mellor going through a lot of defence. Cook looks up, looks for a 40-20. Ethan Ryan lets that skiddle into touch, and we've just under 3 minutes to go here at the Leigh Sports Village. It's still Leigh 14, Bradford 4 on that Kellerland Sports Tour scoreboard. So Ethan Ryan, he had a little glance at the touchline, realised Cook's kick was not in danger of being a 40-20, and now the Bulls are going to play the ball 20 shy of halfway, and it's going to be Jaden Ockenbaugh, the former Canterbury Hull FC man, on tackle number 1. 2 to go to half-time. Despite, as we said, the penalties and set restarts, I think Kurt Haggerty will be delighted to get in at 14-4, but perhaps not so much the ease in which Bradford have conceded a couple of those penalties. So Logan Lewis back on the field for Eben Skur, and he's on halfway here, just to the right of centre field. Acker's in there and acting half, now to Mellor. Misses out Gill, finds Atkin. Shape from the Bulls as Hooley's caught. Well, we thought it was high from Cook. Is this going to get to his feet and play the ball under that two-man tackle from Cook and Hanley on the Leigh 40. Centre field now with Atkin. This is the last for the Bulls, 30 metres out. Dean puts boot to ball. Here goes Russell, Blake, Ockenbaugh. Leigh have knocked the ball on. Bradford have it. Touch judge is going to say there's a knock on here. Crowd going ooh and ah. That should be Bradford ball. Well, we've not had a challenge yet. We had the video referee try, that was disallowed. Someone might be challenging here, either way. 90 seconds to go. It's Blake against Armstrong. Blake's looking at the ball, not looking at the Leigh man. And referee Liam Rush is going to stop the clock here. Well, David Armstrong's down. Lachlan Lamb, the Leigh captain, right in the face of the Murfield official, Liam Rush. I think this one's going the way of Leigh. It is going the way of Leigh. And it's just going to be ruled a turnover on the last, say the officials. Well, that looked like Armstrong had knocked it on in the air. Blake's pointing towards the big screen here, saying, well, Armstrong's just knocked it on. Well, I must confess, I can't believe that I've just seen a turnover when Armstrong knocked that ball on. I'll get Luke Mawson's thoughts in just a moment because we're heading towards half-time, but we can only call it as we see it. Leigh have possession as a Pape to Hanley. Good defence from Hooley and Ryan. Hanley, though, gets the quick play of the ball in 10 shy of halfway. Here goes Charnley, runs lateral into centre field, and he's 5 inside the Bradford half. Leigh 14, Bradford 4. A sloppy, scrappy game here at the Leigh Sports Village. We've got 40 seconds left, and it's another set restart here to Leigh. So Bradford, can they hold on? Yes, they can. They've lost possession here of the Leigh Leopards. It's a 5th error from Adrian Lamb's side, and Elliot Paposha comes up with possession, tackle 1, Ryan tackle 2. And with the hooter imminent, Bradford are going to go in just down by 10. If they could score early in this second half, game back on. Can they score here at the end? Because it's going to go to Dean, now to Aikins. Aikins 20 shy of halfway. Ockenbaugh acting half to Blake. Blake's 10 shy of halfway with 10 seconds left. So this is going to be the final play of the first half. It's going to be Ackers to Mellor in centre field. He gives it to Jamie Gill. Gill's looking to offload the ball. He's offloaded it to the Leigh man. Leigh have possession. Hooter's going to sound because Jacob Alec is brought down there by Ackers and Mellor, and now Aitken comes in, and that will do us a bit of a crazy end to the end of the first half there. But the Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard, Leigh 14, Bradford 4. Luke Mawson, I've got to bring you in because I've never seen anything like it. David Armstrong's knocked it on, and how the hell have Leigh ended up with the ball?
I think we can file that one in the absolute schmozzle category. The ball ricocheted off about 10 different people. There was a challenge in the air. Was somebody caught in the air? Who knows? There's people with a much better view than myself who ended up coming to that decision, but a really difficult one to call. But, just an example of the Bulls being up against stuff in the first half, rightly or wrongly. They've ended up on the back end of some calls and they've had to defend it. By and large, they've done that. Nobody who has seen this first half can question the heart and desire of this Bradford Bulls outfit. Full of effort, full of endeavour, full of desire. Behind on the scoreboard, but my word, a huge effort in that first 40 minutes, and nobody of a Bradford allegiance can look at that and be disheartened.
Totally agree, and we see Kurt Haggerty, Brian Noble, Carl Foster, they're heading down towards the touchline, and here we go. It's on between Kurt Haggerty and Liam Rush. He's not happy. It's happening right in front of everybody. Well, Kurt Haggerty, Luke Mawson, just quickly, is just letting Liam Rush know that he wants a word with him in the tunnel. 7 penalties, 4 set restarts, Bradford no set restarts and 1 penalty. When you're up against it, you certainly don't need any of the 50-50s certainly going against you.
Yeah, one thing I will say from working with Kurt this year is he's incredibly respectful of the match officials, and the way he's waited for Liam Rush there, he wasn't kicking up a fuss. He politely went over to ask a question. He got told he'll speak to him inside the tunnel, which is absolutely the right thing to do. Kurt was very respectful in the way he delivered that and came off. So I'm sure every coach has questions they'd like to ask officials, but just to reiterate the way Kurt went to the match official there, full of respect, as he has been all year. There's been a few coaches deal with that situation differently across this year, but Kurt is full of respect, and you've got to admire that.
Well, half-time here, Leigh Leopards 14, Bradford Bulls 4. Kurt will be having a word with the referee in the tunnel below our position here. I'll echo what Luke Mawson said. He did walk over to him and Liam was like, we're not talking out here in front of everyone, we'll do it in the confines of the tunnel. Half-time at the Brick Community Stadium, 7 miles from here. Wigan Warriors, they led 6-0 after that early try from Bevan French and Adam Kieran conversion. Since then, Liam Marshall has gone in for a brace of tries and there's been an Adam Kieran penalty. Half-time, it's looking like another disappointing performance for Darryl Powell and Wakefield Trinity. They trail by 20 points to 0. Well, here at the Leigh Sports Village, it's just gone 10-9. The tail of the first half, as Luke Mawson quite rightly says, Bradford, full of effort, full of pride, full of endeavour, competing and scrapping for every big moment against the Leigh Leopards this evening. If they could score next, if they could score early in that second half and narrow that Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard from 14-4 to 14-8, 14-10. Oh boy, we've got a game on our hands here. Certainly many neutrals, and I don't say this lightly, but many neutrals going into the 2 games this evening. If you were going to say one was going to be 20-0 and one was going to be 14-4, I think a high percentage of people would have said it would be that game between Wigan and Wakefield that was 14-4. As it is, half-time here at the Leigh Sports Village. It's Leigh Leopards 14, the Bradford Bulls 4. We've got a bit of a treat here now. We're going to hear from Derek Beaumont, but first, Peter Volandis. And Peter Volandis was asked earlier about Las Vegas and how Las Vegas has become a catalyst for the global growth of rugby league. And of course, next February, we will be there at Allegiant Stadium on the 27th of February as the Leigh Leopards take on the Bradford Bulls. Here's Peter Volandis.
Look, I think Vegas actually even surprised me. One of the reasons I liked Vegas was I wanted to promote Watch NRL, which is our app that has all the games and has all the panel shows. So if you're in America and you want to watch rugby league, you subscribe to Watch NRL. And our sales weren't great. And I realised there was 300,000 to 400,000 Australians live in America. So why aren't we selling, to those people? And I ran into I was fortunate enough, I was at the White House, and Ben Way, who was the boss of Macquarie, who's a big Roosters fan, came over and saw me and he said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I said, why are you thanking me? He said, because during COVID, when we had nothing else to do, I watched Watch NRL. It's the best kept secret there is.
You can't watch in Australia. You can only watch it overseas.
But in Australia, it's basically KO.
Yeah.
So that made me think, why aren't we marketing this? So Vegas came to the fore in basically promoting the game and not only to Americans but to Australians. So we've increased Watch NRL by 87%. So we're actually making a lot more money now out of our app than we've ever had. And in this new deal, we're going to get a greater share of that, which hasn't been added into the scheme of things, because that's why the global situation is important to us, because that's where the incremental revenue can come from. But one thing that I never, ever expected from Vegas, and it was more a fluke, not a fluke, but a bonus, was that in the very first year, the amount of publicity it received in Australia nationally, not just in New South Wales and Queensland, nationally, gave us momentum that we've never had before in the game. People that never watched the game watched the Vegas game. They went from casual fans to being engaged fans. And that's what Vegas has brought more than anything else to me, is that 2.4 million viewers of growth has a little bit of that has come from the momentum that Vegas gave us, because there was no oxygen left for any other sport in that period. It was just Vegas, 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 Vegas. And in the last couple of years, it probably hasn't been as much as the first year, but the momentum that gave us, you can't buy. And you can't buy that amount of publicity. You can't buy that amount of and only Vegas can do that. It's weird, but the word Vegas is just in itself charismatic, or it's a bucket list, or there's something about it. I don't know what it is. So it's hard to replicate, and I've looked at replicating it. Do we go to Miami? Miami, maybe. Do we go to New York? And they're the sort of things. And that's why we're looking at global rounds, because we've got to still watch NRL, but go to those places where there's a lot of Australia.
Because Watch NRL can be listened to in France or
anywhere,
Ukraine or
anywhere,
Russia or UK.
And we get $250 for every time. And there's no extra expense in getting that.
So I know you're a big thinker, and I know you're not going to sit on your hands. Are you thinking about a world game? In other words, NRL, Australia, owning through whatever the structures are, rugby league in other places in the world. Right now, I'm not talking about US, but let's say Europe.
Well, in my term, and I don't know how long I'll be there,
you got plenty of years, mate.
They're the seeds we want to plant.
Yeah.
They're the seeds that we want to germinate in the future. Is they're the ones, yes, I want to see rugby league around the world. Because that's the ultimate, isn't it? If you can get your sport everywhere in the world in some fashion, you've achieved.
Certainly in the Pacific, you've done that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a conference in the Pacific,
which
might include New Zealand, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
You could have a conference in Europe, perhaps USA, because there's a lot of rugby league in USA, not just Vegas. I mean, there are teams there. We have a team. Roosters have a team. You could have conferences all around the joint and end up having, the playoffs and all that sort of stuff.
Well, and that's the ultimate aim, isn't it? I mean, if you can globalise your game. But as I said, I think at the moment we can put the seeds in, and then it's someone else to really come along and take it to the next level, because rugby league's got unlimited potential. It really does. And we've never, ever reached our potential.
This is West Yorkshire Rugby League Radio. With Mick the Game Caller Gledhill.
Well, we just heard there from Peter V'landys, and I'm sure the core argument that many will have picked up there from Peter V'landys is that international exposure is not just about one event. Las Vegas is a way to create incremental revenue, expand rugby league's audience base, build on that long-term momentum for the sport of rugby league. But I guess the broader objective from Peter V'landys and the National Rugby League is to truly globalise rugby league by planting and germinating seeds in regions such as North America, Europe and the UK, and of course the South Pacific. And I think what was interesting, just quickly as we drift away from the Super League and Leigh versus Bradford, when you listen to Peter V'landys there, 400,000 Australians living in America. Go before Vegas, the international profile of the Watch NRL platform, the app, Peter says it was weak. So the National Rugby League, it's gone into North America with the Vegas games, the Vegas series. It's targeted those 400,000 Australians living in America. And we're at the year 3 point, and for that to generate 27,000 sales, and if you listen to Peter V'landys there, that's people paying 250 Australian dollars, which is over 6 million in Australian money. Obviously with the exchange rate it's about 3.2 million, but that's amazing when you think about it. The NRL, very well driven, very well organised. They took the gamble, they went to Vegas, they created that momentum that couldn't be bought by any ordinary market, and they've, through that cycle of taking a round of games to Vegas, that cycle has turned casual viewers into engaged fans. I don't say this lightly, rugbyleague.com, West Yorkshire Radio listeners, but I'm sure you might be agreeing with me, you might be disagreeing with me, but I just think when you see how driven, and yes, they have a lot more resources than the Rugby Football League, but as we've just heard from Peter V'landys, you know, the Vegas series, the Vegas games, it's finally delivering money and much needed incremental revenue back into the National Rugby League. And who knows what is going to happen. We know that a couple of the NRL's offers to the Super League owners have been rejected. I said this a couple of weeks ago, spoke to one Super League owner, he said he'd accept 1.5 million a year with 10 years immunity. And I think what he means by the 10 years immunity, it's a no-brainer. The NRL can't cut his club. They can, as many expect the NRL to do, go from 14 to 10. I don't think Peter V'landys is going to deal with those people and he'll just walk away. That's my gut feeling, that's my big prediction. I think it then all turns on money being offered to clubs and potentially being bought or certainly secured in a rival competition. I don't know. When you listen to Peter V'landys though, and how Vegas has become a catalyst for global growth of rugby league, and I'm sure he knows full damn well that he's generating 6 million Australian dollars on a yearly basis on the back of managing to capture and engage those 400,000 Australians living in America. Well, it's just gone 9 o'clock here at rugbyleague.com, West Yorkshire Radio. Bradford out, Elliot Paposhi, Andy Ackers, 8 Canes, they lead the Bulls out. It's a very narrow, tight scoreboard here, 14 points to 4 at half-time. Half-time at the Brick Community, Wigan 20, Wakefield 0. Can Bradford get their first points? Can it be Bradford who score first? Well, as we said, Bradford, the drop to the bottom of the Super League table on points difference last week. It's been a much, much better performance in terms of the battling qualities. Let's see if the second half's refereed a little bit differently after Kurt Haggerty spoke to Liam Rush. Well, don't forget, coming up this weekend, a whole host of games on rugbyleague.com, including a couple from the Championship on Sunday. Whether you want to listen to the South Yorkshire derby between Doncaster and Sheffield, or you want to see if the London Broncos can return to winning ways against Halifax Panthers, rugbyleague.com, your friend regarding rugby league commentaries. Well, as we said, just gone after 9 o'clock here. Referees just counting. Yep, 13 on 13. Bradford get first use of the ball. They go left to right towards their supporters. And are we about to see a second half performance from the Bulls that matches the first? Just a quick reminder of the two teams just quickly. One change from Leigh, Ashworth in for Hughes. 3 changes for the Bulls. Dean for Fulton, Zach Fulton out with a neck injury. Jamie Gill for Ryan Sutton. Leon Ruan, who we've not seen yet, for Phoenix Steinwade. Ryan Sutton, Phoenix Steinwade, they're due to be back next week against Toulouse. We'll be live there from the south of France next Saturday. 7:35 UK time, 8:35 in France, 9 o'clock the kick-off next week at the Stade Ernest Wallon. And Aikins has dropped the ball on the restart. Oh, it's a horror start for the Bulls. Not what Kurt Haggerty and Brian Noble wanted. And now Leigh, no, they could potentially put this game to bed. We will see what happens here. They've got the scrum, Leigh, right underneath the Bulls' post. 10 metres out. A rare error from Aikins. Now it goes to Lamb to Senior. Senior's in at the corner. And Leigh potentially put this game to bed. 20 seconds into the second half, as we see Innis Senior, who scored 2 tries against Leeds at Headingley last week, when the Leigh Leopards ended Leeds Rhinos' unbeaten start to the season at Headingley. It's a 3rd try of the evening for the Leopards. Heartbreak for the Bulls from the off. It was the restart from Cook. Aikins, no one around him. He just took his eyes off the ball for a millisecond and he came up with the error. And now, after Senior's trying the corner, nothing that Blake and Ockimbo could do. They couldn't slide across. We're just told Ethan Ryan's left the field with an injury, so it's looking like it's going bad to worse for Kurt Haggerty. And you've got a feel for Kurt Haggerty. He's not out there on the field under the high balls. And Mr. Reliable, Mr. Dependent, Callum Aikins, Bradford's sole ever present, his 26th appearance of the season. He's come up with a rare error, a huge boo-boo. And now Adam Cook, an opportunity from this main stand touchline. With just a minute gone in this second half to potentially take the Leopards out to 20 points and a 16-point lead. Left-footed kicker Adam Cook curls it in. Superb from the touchline. Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard says Leigh Leopards 20, Bradford Bulls 4. And instead of the Bulls having the ball on the halfway line, putting boot to ball on the last, they've conceded 6 points right at the start of this second half. So Luke Cooley gets the restart underway. The Bulls can't feel sorry for themselves. Hooley to Ashworth, former Castleford man. Drive back by Ruan, drive back by Gill. Great defence there from Jamie Gill, one of 5 homegrown players in this Bradford side. But now, here come Leigh. Although Hooley's touched the ball, knocked it on. Charnley picks it up on the 0. And Isaac Liu wrapped up there by Ruan and Blake. From the 20-metre line, Charnley up to the 30. This is tackle 2, I do believe, after Hooley went for the intercept and knocked it on. Here's an opportunity for Matt Davis, the former London Warrington man. He's on his own 40-metre line, 10 shy of halfway. As Leigh just surge forward here. Lachlan Lamb looking to call for something, and he's got it, and he's going to kick early. Looking for Senior. Aikins, though, shifts across, deals with that one, and Callum Aikins from his own 10-metre line runs in centre field, wrapped up by Trout, wrapped up by Cook, and Bradford back in possession. Well, if you're just joining us, half-time, after a tremendous first half from the Bulls where they scrapped and completed and competed and certainly showed a lot of professionalism and pride and effort. It was 14-4. Now it's 20 points to 4. 3.5 gone. Mella has it, centre field. Moves it along the line to Paposhe. 8 shy of halfway, left-hand side. Ackers goes short side. Aikins. Aikins on a good 20-metre run, and he's 30 metres out from the Leigh line. This is the last, though. Atkin, crossfield kick, looks for Blake, looks for Okinbaugh. Okinbaugh's got it, palms it back. Ruan's knocked it on. Dean's over the line, puts the ball down. And I think they're going to say Leon Ruan knocked that ball on there. Yeah, Leon Ruan guilty of a knock on there. Well, he tried his best, did the former Leeds man. It was clever play by Okinbaugh. He palmed it back. Riley Dean kicked it into the in-goal area and touched it down. But we're just going to see the angle here. Leon Ruan, yeah, just put his hand on it and knocked it on. Still Leopards 20, Bulls 4. Right at the start of this second half. Eben Sker out there on the field for Logan Lewis. So Kurt Haggerty making a couple of early changes. Cook kicks early. Aikins has to stop this one going to touch, which he does. From his own 20-metre line, Aikins. And the former Leigh man, who made 32 appearances, scoring 21 tries for Leigh here in 2022, does well on that occasion. And now Hooley, 20 shy of halfway. Mella to Okinbaugh. Plays it 10 shy of halfway. Ackers to Ruan. Scored a try against Huddersfield and Odsall in the reserves game last Saturday. Leon Ruan plays it on halfway. Now Dean. Mella to Sker. Sker's 5 inside the Leigh half. Centre field, last tackle. Halfway to Dean. High, hanging kick. Senior does well under that high ball. And he's contested the tackle there by Gill and Mella on his own 20-metre line. So Leigh's try scorers in this game, Mulhern and Brogan in that first half. Senior right at the start of the second. Blake scored for the Bulls. And with 30 gone, it was 8 points to 4 for 4 minutes in that first half. Bradford down by 16 on the Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard. Leopards 20, Bulls 4. Ipapi out of acting half. Now it's going to go to Lamb. Lamb to Cook. Cook misses out Charnley. Finds Alec. And Jacob Alec's away on that far stand side. And Alec's busts through. Alec finds Lachlan Lamb. And Lamb's around. And underneath the post. A eye-catching try from the Leigh Leopards. Their second in this second half. They've cut the Bulls open on that right-hand side. Ethan Ryan, he hasn't returned for the second half. We can only presume that Bradford's homegrown hero, Ethan Ryan, is out injured. Something picked up in the first half, perhaps. But that was Jacob Alec, the former Gold Coast Titan. He was herring away from halfway. He just busted his way clear. Bradford's defence couldn't slide across. And then he drew in Aikins, found Lamb on the inside. Look at Alec there. He beats one, he beats two, he beats three. And then the support play from Lamb around and underneath the post. The only person, the last line of the Bulls' defence on that play, Leon Ruin. The second half could be a long second half for Bradford. Clearly, Kurt Haggerty infused and pleased with what he saw in that first half, but perhaps they've had a little bit of a rocket from Adrian Lamb. Have the Leigh Leopards players, because they've certainly upped the ante and changed gear at the start of this second half. Adam Cook will make no mistake. Kick predicted 100%. Right underneath the post in front of the Leigh supporters here. And in the 48th minute here at the Leigh Sports Village, Senior and Lamb, two quick-fire tries at the start of this second half. Leigh 26, Bradford 4 on that Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard. It's looking like it could be a long way back here for the Bulls. 10 minutes gone at the Brick Community Stadium, and it's still 20 points to nil in favour of Matt Peat and the Wigan Warriors. Nearly 10 minutes gone here. Well, Bradford have to score next to give themselves any chance in this game. Leigh know out of the sides in the six, they've got the weakest points for and against. And here goes Ipape outside his own 20. Brought down there by Gill and Ruin. 20 shy of halfway, Lamb in an acting half. Big strong run here from Davis. Rolled over on his back. Ipape now to Lamb. Leigh 5 inside the Bradford half. Centre field. What can the Bulls do here in defence as Cook is wrapped up there by Gill and Skur? This is the last. Ipape kicks towards the corner. Hooley has to backtrack. Hooley does well. Hooley's wrapped up, 5 out from the Bradford line. Can Bradford show a response? Leigh have the Bulls where they want them. Blake's playing it. Now it's going to go to Okinbaugh. Trout brings down Okinbaugh just outside his own 20-metre line. Here goes Russell. And 25 shy of halfway, he's going to be brought down on that left-hand side. Here goes Aikins. But Poshy does well. But Bradford, they're going to kick from deep inside their own half. 30 metres out on the last. Riley Dean does well. It goes into the Leigh 20-metre line. And that's a clever take by Senior. And he runs towards this main stand touchline. That's tackle number 1. Lamb in there and acting half. Now it's going to go to Badrock, the former Swinton witness man. He's brought down, 10 shy of halfway. Lamb to Charnley. He scored a hat-trick against the Bulls in round 14. Not scored yet as Lamb's up and over halfway. Probing, plotting, inside support, finds Cook. Cook's away. Cook kicks over the top. Cook, can he regather? He can! Cook's got it down ahead of Riley Dean and Andy Ackers. And it's a spectacular try from Adam Cook, the former Canberra Raiders Mackay Cutters man. The man that was born in Charters Towers. His impressive first season at Leigh continues. And it's 30 points to 4 if this one is given. Well, that was worth the admission money alone. Lamb inside support to Cook. Cook past Mellor through a gap. Chipped over the top of Aikins, and despite the best efforts of Andy Ackers, he's grounded that one. One of the Super League tries of the season, that. Adam Cook, what a season. And he will turn try scorer into conversion taker. And this one sadly now blowing out against the Bulls. 32 points to 4. If this conversion goes between the posts. And you've just got to think back to that first half, all that defending that the Bulls had to do. Are they just running out of gas here in this second half? Well, that was just something out of nothing from Adam Cook. Cook converts his own score. 6 from 6 from the Australian. Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard. Leigh Leopard's 32. Bradford Bulls 4 here. Friday night Super League. The greatest show in the Super League since Derek Beaumont. RugbyLeague.com, Mick the Game Caller, Gledhill. Friday evening Super League. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, St Helens against Castleford. Then it's Ulkeiston Rovers against Toulouse before the trilogy concludes with Catalan Dragons and John Cartwright hosting Hull FC in the south of France. And then on Sunday, 2 games. Warrington against Huddersfield and York against Leeds. Well, if Huddersfield could go to Warrington and pick up yet another win, that leaves the Bulls firmly marooned at the foot of the table with 3 rounds to go. Leigh on the restart here, 15 shy of halfway. Isaac Liu. Now to Badrock, now to Cook. Trout runs it in. Draws in 3 black-shirted Bulls defenders. Ipape out of acting half. Now to Cook. Drills it towards the corner. Aikins from the 10. Moves it up to the 20. Brave play there from Callum Aikins. Will Gardner coming on here for Joe Mellor. Bradford up to 6 interchanges. Leigh on 4. Could be a long final 25 minutes here for the Bulls. Aikins is on his own 30-metre line, plays the ball. And there's an opportunity here for Elliot Paposhi, who's making some good post-contact meters. He'll play it. Acker's acting half. In centre field to Skur. Skur down the middle. This will be the last for Kurt Haggerty's side. Goes back to Dean. Dean put under pressure there, but gets the kick away. Once again, in his senior. Under pressure from the high ball from Dean, but deals with it. And now it's going to be Charnley on tackle 2. Well, Jack Ashworth leaves the field. On comes back the Kiwi, Joe Ofahengani. He made his debut for Adrian Lamb's side back in round 10 when they went to the south of France and had a nervy 26-24 result in their favour. Remember his time at the Brisbane Broncos, Ofahengani. A big, brutal prop forward, and here he goes down the middle, carrying Leigh, 20 out from the Bradford line. Centre field, Ipape to Lamb. Lamb kicks into the Ingle area, but Aikins deals with it. Runs lateral, gives the ball to Hooley. Hooley gives it back. This is Paposhi. Bounces off 1, bounces off 2, tackle 1, Paposhi 15 out from his own line. Hooley now to Okinbaugh. Oh, he's juggled with the ball, Okinbaugh, and he's just lost it there inexplicably. And Leigh have got it with Edward Ipape. And I think the referee's going to say double knock on. Ipape not able to take it in cleanly. It's head and feet at the scrum here to Leigh. 7th error from the Bulls. They'd only made 1 error after 30 minutes. It's a frustrating collapse for Kurt Haggerty's side, but as we said, there has been effort there. Bradford have completed and tried the best. Unfortunately, the best is not good enough. Wakefield, Corey Hall, they've narrowed the gap. And Leigh from the scrum, Charnley to Senior, and Senior's in for a double, just like he did last week at Headingley. From that scrum, 25 metres out after Jaden Okinbaugh had knocked the ball on. It was quick, fast, crisp movement from Adrian Lamb's side. And this is now blowing out here in spectacular fashion. 24 minutes to go in this one. Senior, the 6th try for Leigh. The 4th in this second half. Bradford have not had too many blowout scores, in all fairness. Just the one that was more than 40 points, and that was that trip to Wakefield. This one, though, could be about to blow out, and that'd be a crying shame. But you've got to say, Leigh, they need to improve that points for and against. And there's an opportunity here for Adam Cook on this main stand touchline to get another 2 points to Leigh's total. Kick predictor turned on. %, 5 metres in from touch on this main stand side. 36 points to 4. Adam Cook, left-footed kicker. We've got the best view in the house. Will he send this one between the posts? He will, you know. Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard says Leigh Leopards 38, Bradford Bulls 4. It's the same scoreboard as it was 4 years ago when Bradford came here with John Keir as head coach on that Valentine's Monday massacre when Leigh won 38-4. Well, back underway here. They've got a lot of work to do, the Bulls, to try and get themselves back in this game and try and stop the Leigh Leopards scoring from the restart. 15 shy of the halfway line. Sorry, 15 out from the road try line, Leigh. Now the 25 shy of halfway. On tackle number 2 as Owen Trout carries 2 Bradford defenders, the former Leeds, Featherstone, Huddersfield man. Quick play the ball. Lamb, Charnley, they're queuing up again. Charnley goes past Russell. Charnley's away. Aikins goes straight for Charnley's legs. Quick play the ball. Leigh have got numbers now over on the far stand side, and that's where they're going. Cook to Lamb. Lamb tries to skip through a gap. Tackle complete. He'll play it 25 out. Ipapi to offer Gawe. 15 away. Keeps the ball going. Leigh herring away underneath the post. Jamie Gill. Desperate defence. Last tackle here. Leigh, they're looking for more points. They're going to get more points. Although the referee, though, will say a Bradford man has somehow got to that ball first, and it's Riley Dean. Dean grounds the ball. There were 3 or 4 Leigh kick chase attackers putting pressure on the former Warrington Oldham man. Ipapi out of acting half, and Ipapi and Charnley chasing the kick. Leigh forcing the goal line dropout. Just reached the hour mark. 20 minutes to go. Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard still says Leigh 38, Bradford 4. Ethan Ryan hasn't come back on, so Bradford down to the bare bones, you feel, on the interchange bench. As we see Joe Mellor come back on the field for Jamie Gill. Jamie Gill is going to leave the field with a head injury assessment. So the clock stopped with 20 minutes to go here. Jamie Gill just being led by the Bradford Bulls club doctor and physio. Referee Liam Rush happy. We're good to go. Bradford get the dropout up to halfway, and it's going to be Lachlan Lamb who picks it up and gives it to the 26-year-old Lewis Brogan. Tackle 1. 5 inside the Bradford half. Ipapi. Offengawe. Trout. Wrapped up by Blake and Mellor. 40 out from the Bradford line. Tackle 2. Here goes Cook. Lamb spins out of one tackle. Moves the ball along the line to Brogan. to Bradrock. And Badrock's brought down. 25 out. Ipape now in there in acting half. Lamb. And that's tackle 4, say the officials. Leigh 20 out, centre field. Ipape to Lamb. Lamb steps back on the inside, wrapped up by Skur. Good defence. This is the 5th and last for Adrian Lamb's side. Goes over on that right-hand side. The kick comes in from Cook. Hooley grounds the ball in the field of play. Good defence there from Luke Hooley. Dan Russell down. Not sure if he's having a head injury assessment, but he's just been dealt with. So referee Liam Rush is going to have to stop the clock here. And he's allowing play to continue as Russell just gets up in the nick of time. Jaden Ockenbaugh carries Bradford up to their own 20-metre line. Quick play the ball. Ackers spins out a 1. This is the last now for Kurt Haggerty's side. They've conceded 24 points and 4 tries in this second half. 17 minutes to go here as Charnley turns defence into attack. Nearly lifted above the horizontal, but he's been placed delicately back down by Mellor and Gardner. Horn's coming on the field here. So you've got Ipape and Horn. That's going to cause Bradford no end of issues as Leigh moving up to halfway. And the 15 inside the Bradford half now over on that right-hand side. Quick play the ball. Ipape off for Ngawe along the line. No look ball to Cook. He's wrapped up. Quick play the ball though. Horn. Lamb. Draws in Skur. Back to Ipape. Now to Trout. Trout 20 out from the Bradford line. It's another penalty against the Bulls. Owen Trout. He's been caught high, I think, say the officials. Luke Mawson, I'll just bring you in. It's now 9 penalties to 1. I've got to be honest, it's not a 9-1 penalty game, but unfortunately Bradford, despite the best efforts, conceding those 4 tries right at the start of the second half.
Yeah, after all that good work in the first half, the start of the second half unfortunately set the tone. We had Ethan Ryan going off at half-time, forcing a positional reshuffle, and Leigh have taken advantage of that and been red hot in this second half. And the players they've got, it doesn't take much for them to pick a gap in any defence, and unfortunately all that effort in the first half looks like it's taken its toll, and there's been some errors from the Bulls as the Leigh spread play out wide, and it's another try. Amila Hanley, on the day he gets a call up to the England performance squad, he extends the Leopards' advantage again, taking advantage of that positional reshuffle. Players playing out of position. There's no shortage of effort from the Bulls, but this is just too good from the Leigh Leopards.
Yeah, Amaya Hanley, he got the call, or should I say the email this morning, saying that he is in the England squad for the trip to Australia in October. And Amaya Hanley denied right at the start of this game. He's crossed for try number 7 of the season in only his 14th appearance, and it's 42 points to 4 in the 64th minute. There's still 16 minutes to go for Kurt Haggerty and the Bulls. Would be unfortunate if this one did blow out, but as we said, through no lack of effort, Bradford, players out of position, players suffering HIAs. Not that Kurt Haggerty will use those as excuses. That was just lovely play after being awarded the penalty. Owen Trout caught high, and then Leigh shifted it towards this left-hand side, and it was just the speed of the passing and running game. They created the space, they created the overlap out wide, and Amaya Hanley in for what is Leigh's 7th try, their 5th in the second half. Adam Cook, if he gets this one, it's 30-0 in the second half. Adam Cook does convert from the touchline. He's 8 from 8 and a try. He's got 20 of Leigh's 44 points, and that Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard does not look good. It's grim viewing for Kurt Haggerty and Brian Noble. It says Leopards 44, Bulls 4. Well, Leigh next week, they will face Huddersfield on the Friday evening. They'll arrive at the Aku Stadium full of confidence. Bradford, they've got a bit of a punishing trip to Toulouse next week. Dan Russell leaves the field, so too does Elliot Paposhi. Oh no, Lee Greenwood's just doing a bit of a positional swap. Paposhi's been moved to the right-hand side. Gardner's gone to the left. And Luke Cooley in no real hurry to get this restart back underway. RugbyLeague.com, West Yorkshire Radio. Plenty of Rugby League coming up this weekend, but sadly for the Bulls, this one is done and dusted. There's still 15 to go. And it's just a case now of how hungry Leeds want to improve their points for and against. From the 20-metre line, it's going to be Horn to Lamb, along the line to Cook. Chansley's moved from the left to the right. He'll play it 20 shy of halfway. Bradford can't afford to concede the restarts or the penalties. They've improved in this second half, just 2 penalties to 0. Here goes Lamb now. There's more danger. Senior's away. Forward pass will bring Leigh back. And for the first time in this second half, Bradford are going to have a full set in the Leigh half of the field. Leigh have dominated possession, 5 tries. And Leigh are going to challenge something here. Well, he can't challenge a forward pass. The touch should stood his ground on halfway. We'll have a look and see what James Vella's looking at here. Not that it's going to matter in the scheme of things. Scoreboard reads Leigh 44, Bradford 4. The tail of the tape in this second half will be Callum Aikins knocking the ball on right at the restart after half-time. He knocked it on. Seconds later, Senior's in at the corner. And then Bradford's ill discipline and defensive structures falling and eroding away. They, despite a valiant effort, it's a heavy defeat here on a Friday night in Greater Manchester. Well, we're looking at the big screen to see if there's a Leigh player taken out late after the ball was passed. Not entirely sure what we're looking at here, to be honest. A lengthy captain's challenge, so perhaps there's something James Vella spotted. Bradford are getting the ball, it's unsuccessful. So Bradford, they've got a full set on the halfway line. And Joe Mellor says we'll have the scrum in centre field. 44-4, Bradford down by 40. It was 14-4 at half-time, 5 tries in this second half. A tough evening for Kurt Haggerty and the Bulls, but can they restore some pride and respectability on that scoreboard? Riley Dean will feed the scrum. It's going to be Ackers to Blake. And Blake's 10 inside the Leigh half, tackle 1. Just to the left of centre field. Now they're going to go down the middle here with Skur, who takes a short crash ball from Mellor. Off a Hengawi, wraps him up 30 metres out. Now it's Mellor to Dean. Leon Ruan, asleep there, has gone without the ball, and Leon Ruan's error might see Senior in for his hat-trick. He's still going, his Senior. He's going to be brought down, 18 out from the Bradford line, and Leon Ruan there, not sure what he was doing, looked like he was asleep running forward, didn't realise the ball was coming to him, and now Leigh are queuing up to score. Owen Trout walks in, palms the ball back on the inside, and off a Hengawi on career appearance, 250. He goes around and underneath the post, and now the Bradford Bulls are going to suffer another heavy 50-point plus defeat. We've still got 13 minutes to go. What on earth was Leon Ruan doing there? Very, very harsh to blame it on one player, but it was a simple pass. Leon, wake up, catch the ball. He was asleep. Oh, the more you watch the error on the replay, Oh, it's stuff for the horror time bed stories. Leigh capitalise again. 9 errors now from the Bulls. An 8th try. And off Ngawi. He backed up that raid from Trout on that right-hand side. And something's telling me Adam Cook's going to take Leigh to the big 5-0 here. Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard about to hit the half century. It's Leigh 48, Bradford 4. Adam Cook yet to miss this evening from in front of the post. Left-footed kicker. He'll enjoy his personal haul here on this Friday night at the Leigh Sports Village, which he does. And it's Leigh 50, Bradford 4. The Bulls supporters behind the post, they're starting to head for the exits. They can't believe what they've seen here this evening. Neither can I, to be honest. Leigh just gifted 6 points there from the softest of errors from the Bulls. And there's 10 minutes to go here. And it could get worse. 50 points to 4. 36 unanswered points in this second half from the Leopards. But there's still been that effort from the Bulls. As we said, we'll try find out from Kurt Haggerty what Ethan Ryan's done. But this is just lambs to the slaughter stuff here. Adrian Lamb smiling behind our commentary position, beaming with delight. Ngawi, the try scorers, playing it 25 shy of halfway. Robbie Mulhern back on the field. Mulhern 15 shy of halfway. Sker, Ruan in defence. Down the middle they're going to go with Ngawi, who gets the ball to Horn. Horn flicks it back. Mulhern has it. Mulhern finds the support of Horn, and Horn's away. Horn has support from Cook, and Adam Cook's going in for his second, and Leigh's 9th try, their 7th of this second half. It's going to be a crushing, disappointing defeat for Kurt Haggerty and the Bradford Bulls, but it's raining tries on a Friday night here at the Leigh Sports Village. Adam Cook, he now has 28 points for his tally this evening, about to potentially go to 30 of Leigh's 56, because it's 54 points to 4. The try count really starting to rack up now against Kurt Haggerty and the Bradford Bulls. Leigh supporters in this big crowd chanting Adam Cook's name, and why not? He'll be in man of the match territory. And what's worrying for the Bulls, there's still 9 minutes to go here. Leigh against Bradford in Vegas. Well, I'm sure Peter Volandis, who we heard from at half-time, and the National Rugby League will almost certainly be hoping that the Vegas game does not follow either the scoreboard here in round 24 or the scoreboard in round 14 when Leigh put the Bulls to the sword 38-12. Adam Cook, can he continue his unblemished record with the kicking boot? Yes, he can. Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard. He goes out for 10 from 10. And he has 30 of the Leigh Leopards' 56 points. Man of the match, he's been everywhere. He's created tries for Lamb, off Ngawi, and he scored 2 himself. 10 from 10 with a boot. Leopards 56, Bulls 4. Wakefield staging a late comeback at the Brick Community Stadium. Wigan 26, Wakefield 12. It's looking like it's going to be a third defeat on the bounce for Darryl Powell and Wakefield Trinity. And all of a sudden, with Leigh winning here this evening, they'll be level on points with Wakefield. And if St Helens can get the job done against Castleford, perhaps the unthinkable. Could it happen? Who knows? Charnley on the restart, Sensini away, and Leigh now, they're going to score points for fun. They're queuing up, it's Lachlan Lamb, and it goes from bad to worse. 10 tries to 1, 8 tries in this second half, and it's 60 points to 4, and there's still 7 minutes to go here. Bradford being absolutely cut to bits here, cut to ribbons. 60 points to 4. Tackle 2 play. There were 20 out from their own line. Again, Cook involved, Ipape. It was Senior. He ran past Dean. Drew in Aitkins. And if truth be told, if Lachlan Lamb didn't take the pass on the inside, there was Charnley and a few other Leigh players queuing up to score. Well, this is Bradford's heaviest defeat of the season by some margin. And as we see the try confirmed and the final charge slogan put up on the big screen. Plenty of food for thought for Kurt Haggerty and the Bulls. But Leigh Leopards absolutely dismantling the Bradford Bulls here this evening at the Leigh Sports Village. 5 minutes still to go as Adam Cook looks to convert. Lachlan Lamb's second try of the evening. He's up to 12 tries this season now, the Lance Todd Trophy winner in 2023 when Leigh lifted the Challenge Cup. Cook does convert, and that's 8 tries and 48 points in this second half that the Bulls have conceded. 14-4, remember, at half-time. Well, this might be Kurt Haggerty's darkest night. The Bulls supporters that have stayed behind, credit where it's due. A couple of hundred still in that away stand to my right. With that scoreboard at 62-4. Robbie Muller, tackle 1, moves in out. 10,000 plus in attendance here. Ashworth back off the interchange bench, not played the ball in the correct place. Well, I think Kurt Haggerty will just want the full-time hooter to sound here. Bradford have been knocked out by the Leigh Leopards in emphatic fashion. Very difficult to take any positives from this second half performance. Here goes off of Hengawi. Offloads the ball back to Charnley. Charnley from the 30. Charnley brought down there by Mellor. Tackle 4. Bradford, no set restarts given and just 1 penalty. Leigh, it has been an immaculate disciplined performance. Here come Leigh. They've knocked it on. It's picked up by Okinbaugh. Okinbaugh's got it. And Okinbaugh's going towards the corner. And Jaden Okinbaugh, he's got there, has it? He's denied by Charnley. A metre shy of the line. And he's adjudged to have knocked the ball on. Referee stopping the clock. Are Bradford going to challenge? Okinbaugh against Charnley. Charnley ankle taps in. Well, I tell you what, it's a close run thing that, Luke Mawson. Not sure what's going on, to be honest. Do we go back for the original knock on? Either way, he went close to Okinbaugh there.
Yeah, the call is a knock-on from Bradford in the build-up to that when the ball came loose and Okinbaugh picked it up. Some great scrambling defence from Leigh. Just goes to show what a champion side they are, not switching off. Unfortunately, another moment not going Bradford's way tonight. It'd have been nice to see a score at the end to reward the Bradford support behind the sticks.
Yeah, head and feed. Eagle-eyed Luke Mawson there. He's saying he's seen it. I missed it, to be honest. I saw Okinbaugh take the ball on the floor and he was away towards the corner. Yeah, Poposhik just puts his hand there as Cook was looking to pass the ball on the inside. 4 minutes to go here. This one's dead and buried at Leopard 62, Bulls 4. Bradford, they'll dust themselves off and they'll travel to the south of France next weekend. A much, much more winnable game. Oh, they've been intercepted here by Aikins. And Aikins is going now towards the corner. Well, from the scrum on the halfway line, Ofain Gowie has just passed the ball to the former Leigh man, Aikins. Here come Bradford now. Blake has it to Paposhi. Paposhi's 12 metres out. Probably for the first time in this second half, Bradford are going to have some pressure and possession on that Leigh line. Here goes Eben Skur. Back to Miller. They've got an overlap here. Gardner. Oh, big fend from Will Gardner, the former Hull FC man. Gets the ball to Aikins. Aikins towards the corner. And Bradford get penalty number 2 of the evening. 9-2 the penalty count against the Bulls. And it's a high tackle on Will Gardner. Sorry, high tackle on Callum Aikins. Bradford. They're going to tap the ball here now with Mellor. Jamie Gill. 10 out underneath the lead post. Can Bradford finish with a consolation try? It's Ackers taking the line on. Sliding defence, alert to stop the former Leeds man from scoring. Will Gardner now. He goes over from acting half. A metre shy, say the officials. Leigh 62, Bradford 4. Can Bradford stem and stop that avalanche of Leigh points? They are, you know. Paposhi's through, and Paposhi's effort will be rewarded. That Bradfordian never say die scrappers mentality from this Bradford side. We'll see Elliot Paposhi rewarded with his second try of the Super League season. He made his Bulls debut against Dewsbury back in 24 in the 1895 Cup. The same year he was named the Bradford Bulls Young Player of the Year. And the former St Helens Academy man, he's one of the bright lights of this first Super League season. Back in the top flight for the Bradford Bulls. 62-8, Paposhi, a well-deserved try. So, the 48 unanswered points halted and stopped, and the Bull supporters who've stayed behind right to the death, they're going to enjoy that one. So Atkins going to take over the kicking from Hooley. Paposhi, his first Super League try was in a heavy defeat at Bellevue against Wakefield, so he won't thank me for reminding that stat. That is 2 line breaches against the opposition have come in heavy defeats. Kick predictor turned on for Chris Atkin. 88%, and that one goes between the posts. Bradford supporters cheering here, and we've got 60 seconds to go. Elliot Paposhi. It's Leigh 62, Bradford 10 on the Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard. And just a quick reminder, in 60 seconds or so, when the full-time hooter goes, we're going to quickly depart and leave you because we need to head to the post-match press conferences, and then for myself, I've got a bit of a crazy journey back to Bradford, which involves a train to Manchester, and then the 1 o'clock in the morning bus from Manchester coach station back to Bradford. So I'll be getting in at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's worth it. It's rugby league. West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com. Leigh, go for a bouncing restart, picked up by Skur. Skur's brought down, 20 out from his own line, and with 50 seconds to go, Bradford could just run down the clock here. Or they're going to play fancy play. Well, they're playing fancy play. Here goes Dean, now to Ockenbaugh. Outside his own 20. Well, the second half couldn't have gone any worse for Bradford, but at least it's going to finish with some positivity as Riley Dean now loses possession backwards. Paposhi has it. He's wrapped up there by Senior and Ashworth. And there's 20 seconds to go here. Mellor misses out Gill. Gives the ball behind him to Atkin. Atkin to Hooley back on the inside. They're still deep inside their own 20-metre line here, the Bulls. Hooley's brought down. And now there's 10 seconds to go. So this will be the final play of the game. Ackers, Dean, clever chip over the top. Paposha chasing this one. Charlie takes it into touch. Full time here at the Leigh Sports Village, and that Catalan Sports Tour scoreboard says Leigh Leopards 62, Bradford Bulls 10. A frustrating evening for the Bulls, but job well done for Adrian Lamb and the Leopards. They now put pressure on Hulkiston Rovers, Wakefield, Warrington, and even Wigan and Leeds above them in the table. I tell you what, when the playoffs do start, very little between all 6 teams. Adam Cook, the man of the match, 30 points, 2 tries, 10 from 10, 11 from 11 with a boot, on a perfect display. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a bit of a frustrating evening from the Bulls. They go down here, their heaviest defeat of the season. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Check rugbyleague.com for the schedule of the games that we're showing. Some Super League, and we've also got some Championship on Sunday. From myself, I'll love you and leave you. Over 10,000 here to see Leigh blitz the Bulls. 10 tries and 62 points to 10.